The practice tests focus on key concepts that are important for the safety of food in a food service operation. Each test has 15 questions that are very similar to the real questions that might be on your exam. Question 31. Using color-coded cutting boards and utensils is an effective strategy to help prevent what? A. Poor personal hygiene. B. A pest infestation. C. Cross-contamination. D. Time temperature abuse. Answer C. Cross-contamination is one of the biggest challenges to preventing foodborne illness. Here's a simple explanation of cross-contamination. It can occur in any of these scenarios. 1. Something that is dirty touches something that is clean. 2. Raw food that requires a lower temperature for cooking touches raw food that requires a higher temperature of cooking. 3. Raw food touches ready-to-eat food. 4. Food containing an allergen touches food that does not contain an allergen. 5. Any of the above examples also apply if a person or object touches one of them and then the same person or object touches another one of them without being cleaned and sanitized between contact. Color-coded cutting boards and utensils help to prevent 5 from occurring. A common mistake is using the same cutting board or utensils on foods that should not come into contact with each other. It is wise for food service establishment to have separate cutting boards and utensils for each type of food. This should be color-coded so that one color is only used for poultry, while another color is only used for ground meats, and so on. Question 32. Which of the following is considered by the regulatory authority to be an imminent health hazard? A. An electrical power outage. B. Flooding. C. All of this. D. A sewage backup. Answer C. All of these are considered to be an imminent health hazard because they pose a significant threat to health that needs to be corrected immediately. When faced with one of these situations, you must determine if there is a significant risk to the safety of the food. If you determine that the risk is significant, all food preparation and service must be stopped, and your local regulatory authority must be notified. After taking corrective action, you will need written permission from your regulatory authority before you can resume food preparation and service. Question 33. A food handler has a wound or a boil on their hand or wrist. What is an appropriate course of action? A. Stay home until the wound or boil is completely healed. B. Be restricted to duties that do not involve food contact. C. Wear an impermeable bandage and cover with a single-use glove. D. Wash hands thoroughly between each task. Answer C. An employee may still work with food as long as they take precautionary steps. If a wound or boil is located on the hand or wrist, it should be covered with an impermeable cover, such as a finger cord or bandage. Impermeable means that liquid from the wound cannot pass through it. A finger cord is a rubber or latex cover that fits over one finger only. There are also impermeable bandages designed for wrist as well. The finger cord and the entire hand should then be covered with a single-use glove. Question 34. What is the best approach to dealing with pests? A. All of this. B. Deny pests food, water, and shelter. C. Deny pests access to the operation. D. Work with a licensed pest control operator, PCO. Answer A. Prevention is critical when dealing with pests because once there is an infestation, it can be difficult to deal with. Deny pests access to the operation. Pests can enter the establishment with deliveries, inspect all packages for signs of pest. Chewing, nesting debris, insect parts, wings, legs, and feces are signs of pests. If signs of pests are found, the delivery should be rejected. Holes in the wall or ceiling should be repaired quickly. Windows and vents should be covered with screens. Install self-closing doors or air curtains. An air curtain is large fans installed above and below the entryway, creating a blast of wind that people can walk through but flying insects cannot fly through. Deny pest food, water, and shelter by throwing out garbage often. Store recyclables in clean pest-proof containers. Clean up spills quickly and do not allow water to accumulate on floors or in sinks, etc. Always work with a licensed pest control operator, PCO, if an infestation is suspected. Poisonous or toxic materials should only be applied by a certified applicator. Question 35. Which of the following is not considered as an example of a corrective action? A. Throwing out food that has been time temperature abused. B. Retraining staff who are doing a task improperly. C. Rejecting a shipment of food that appears to be spoiled. D. Asking a customer who is ordering an alcoholic beverage for ID. Answer C. Sometimes the term corrective action refers to HACCP plan, but it also applies to the food safety practices of any food service operation. A corrective action is when a food handler discovers an unsafe practice and takes action to stop it and prevent it from happening again. HACCP is beyond the scope of a ServSafe Manager and usually only applies to an industrial production operation, such as a meat processing plant or milk or juice pasteurizing facility. Question 36. To effectively heat sanitize equipment, it must be soaked for at least 30 seconds in hot water. That is, what minimum temperature? A. 171 degrees F. B. 212 degrees F. C. 165 degrees F. D. 155 degrees F. Answer A. One method for sanitizing dishes, utensils, and equipment is to soak them in hot water. The water should be at least 171 degrees F, and the item should be completely submerged for at least 30 seconds. This can be done in a large sink, but usually it is done by running the item through a high-temperature dishwasher. Question 37. A pathogen is considered what type of contaminant? A. Biological. B. Chemical. C. Of this. D. Physical. Answer A. There are three types of contaminations to food. They are biological, chemical, and physical. Biological contaminants are pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, fungi, and toxins, poisons produced by some seafood, mushrooms, and plants. Chemical contaminants are chemicals that may accidentally contaminate food. Cleaning agents, insecticides, and polishes are some examples. Physical contaminants are things like chicken bones, glass, dirt, or bag ties that may accidentally fall into food. In the case of bones, some foods, soup for example, usually should not contain bones. Question 38. Which type of pathogen is not normally destroyed by freezing or cooking and must be prevented through good personal hygiene? A. Viruses, B. Fungi, C. Parasites, D. Bacteria. Answer A. Most pathogens such as bacteria, fungi, and parasites can easily be killed with high temperatures, but some viruses cannot. Viruses can be spread through food just like other pathogens, but cooking does not always kill it. This is another reason why food handlers must practice good personal hygiene and proper cleaning and sanitizing methods. Most of the responsibility of preventing viruses from entering the food supply begins with the producers of food. Livestock and produce farmers, as well as the processing facilities for them, are heavily monitored and inspected. They are the first line of defense against viruses. It is very important that your establishment purchases food from reputable suppliers for this reason. But even if your supplies come from excellent sources, a careless employee can easily spread viruses by not practicing good personal hygiene. Question 39. A cold storage unit must have a reliable thermometer. Where should the thermometer be located? A. Near the center of the unit. B. Near the coldest part of the unit. C. Near the warmest part of the unit. D. As close to the food as possible. Answer C. A cold storage unit must maintain a temperature of 41 degrees F or lower. If the warmest part of the unit is 41 degrees F, then you can be sure that the rest of the unit is also that temperature or lower. The warmest part of a cold storage unit is usually up high, near the door and away from the evaporator fan. Question 40. You're reheating previously cooked TCS food from the cooler that will be hot held for service to guests. Assuming that the food was originally cooked and cooled correctly, what is the minimum temperature that the food must be reheated to before being hot held? A. 165 degrees F for any amount of time. B. The food can be safely put into hot holding at any temperature. C. 135 degrees F for 15 seconds. D. 155 degrees F for 15 seconds. Answer A. As long as the food was previously cooked and cooled properly, and as long as it will be immediately served, it does not need to be reheated. But if the food will be hot held before service, it needs to be cooked to a minimum internal temperature of 165 degrees F. Question 41. Which of the following symptoms is most commonly associated with foodborne illness? A. Congestion. B. Dizziness or vertigo. C. Diarrhea. D. A rash or hives. Answer C. When a medical professional hears complaints of uncontrolled diarrhea, one of the first considerations is a foodborne illness. This is because it is so common with all types of foodborne illnesses. Other common symptoms of foodborne illness are vomiting, fever, nausea, abdominal cramps, and jaundice. When a person consumes unsafe levels of pathogens, the body tries to get rid of it. This is why diarrhea and vomiting occur. The body may also try to kill or thwart the pathogens by heating up to higher temperatures where some pathogens cannot thrive. This is fever. Nausea and abdominal cramps are usually sign effects of diarrhea and vomiting. Jaundice, yellowing of the skin and eyes, is caused by a complicated process involving the liver. This usually stems from hepatitis A, which is also a foodborne illness. Question 42. What is the proper sequence of effectively sanitized dishware, utensils, and equipment? A. Scrape, wash, rinse, sanitize, air dry. B. Scrape, wash, sanitize, rinse, air dry. C. Scrape, sanitize, wash, rinse, air dry. D. Scrape, rinse, wash, sanitize, air dry. Answer A. This is the correct process for cleaning and sanitizing food contact surfaces. 1. Scrape to remove any food or debris from the surface. 2. Use a cloth towel to wash the surface with a cleaning solution. 3. Rinse the surface with clean water. 4. Sanitize the surface with the correct sanitation of the sanitizing agent. Allow at least 7 to 30 seconds for the sanitizer to work, according to the manufacturer's recommendations. 5. Allow the surface to air dry. Question 43. How long can you safely store ready-to-eat TCS food in a cooler at a temperature of 41 degrees F or lower? A. 4 days, B. 7 days, C. 14 days, D. 10 days. Answer B. The reason that we control the temperature of food is so that we can control the growth of the microorganisms within it. The microorganisms are what cause foodborne illness. Microorganisms multiply at a much slower rate in cold temperatures, but they still reproduce. Temperatures below freezing completely stop the growth of microorganisms, but it is not practical to keep all foods frozen all the time. Science has determined that temperatures of 41 degrees F and below slow down the growth of microorganisms enough to make it an ideal storage temperature. But because the microorganisms are still multiplying, the food should be served or thrown out within 7 days. Question 44. What is the minimum internal temperature that raw fish, seafood, shellfish, and crustaceans should be cooked to for at least 15 seconds before serving? A. 155 degrees F, B. 165 degrees F, C. 135 degrees F, D. 145 degrees F. Answer D. Raw freshwater fish, seafood, shellfish, and crustaceans should be cooked to a minimum internal temperature of 145 degrees F for at least 15 seconds. Some examples of shellfish and crustaceans are shrimp, crayfish, crab, lobster, clams, scallops, oysters, and mussels. Question 45. Which type of jewelry are you allowed to wear during food preparation? A. A plain band ring. B. A watch. C. None of this. D. A medical bracelet. Answer A. Employees should not wear jewelry on their hands or wrist. This is because food particles or other contaminations can become trapped in or beneath them. A plain band ring is the only acceptable type of jewelry for hands and wrist. This is because it can easily be covered and protected by a single-use glove. A ring with stones or gems may tear or damage the glove and should not be worn. Thank you for watching.